I'm Shirley Paulson, and I invite you into one of the many conversations I've had with Arthur Dewey, the West Star editor of my book, Illuminating the Secret Revelation of John, Catching the Light. The questions that come up from reading both this ancient text and my book about it are both broad and deep. So we turn the spotlight on one of these many thought-provoking topics. So I love the way this ancient book really takes theodicy head on. In fact, I have to say, Art, that one of the things I was so attracted to in this book is I think this author is incredibly brave.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was he, along with all the other Jews and most of the people in the whole Mediterranean basin, were confronting Roman atrocities, but he was brave to speak out the way he did.
Yes.
For two reasons. One is that he was brave to speak against the Roman oppression, which he did kind of in a secret way, but he was also brave to speak theologically the way he did, to claim a God who could be good in the face of all this going on, or to claim that a God was powerful even when Jesus had been crucified.
Mm-hmm.
And his logic behind that is powerful, I think, in the sense that he's brave, and also he backs it up with things that make sense.
Mm-hmm. This, I think, has bearing. The word unshakable is used to describe people. And I've been mulling that around. And I think one of the things that we are not aware of today is the seismic activity around the Mediterranean. Things were always shaking. You have a temple one day, and then all of a sudden there's a tremor, and 5 columns are down, and you've got a mess, and you've got to put it back together again. So I think one of the aspects of that word unshakable actually refers to the recognition that you can have that stillness, that calm that comes from this deep understanding that makes you unseismic, unshaken.
Wow. You always find some way of enlivening these things we're talking about, Art. Like, I did not know about the shaking going on around that area, but it sure does make sense that this author would be talking about the unshakable nature of people living close to God.
If you look at the remains at Olympus, the Greek government kept the temple of Zeus in place all over the place because it's all down, and it's rather startling. But when you think that this was not an unusual phenomenon for these people, that the tremors, unfortunately, the Mediterranean does have seismic centers, and they're still active. And we've seen this more recently in Italy too.
So we probably should talk a little bit about that idea of unshakable, because I don't think it's a concept we use too much in religious thought today. But it was thought to be a very positive thing, to become unshakable and calm. I used to be terrified at the idea of being too calm, because I thought that meant that little girls could never climb trees or run around, and the thought of sitting in a rocking chair forever terrified me. But as I've matured, I still like to run around, but I can understand that running around more thoughtfully, more purposefully is more useful, and that being calm means to quiet down my own personal reactions to things and finding a way for that centeredness to work through me. In other words, the closeness to God as a way of working through me better when I'm quiet. So the whole idea of unshakable really is an unusual and helpful way of contemplating the spiritual picture, I think, that's going on in the book.
Yeah, and indeed, I think you also mentioned in the book that when people are in a serious situation, there are some people who remain calm. They carry out what needs to be done, and that's part of it. I think, and until you link this unshakableness with wisdom, with a sense of a depth and a sense of this is the way, Until you do that, you don't understand what they're talking about. But I think many of us have had moments where it all seems to be working, where, this attunement to the depths. We see this in our experiences every now and then when it just seems to go right.
Thanks for joining us and thinking about one of these deeper questions with us as we turned the spotlight on one of the many challenging topics associated with this ancient text. If you haven't read my book yet, Illuminating, the Secret Revelation of John, Catching Delight, it's published by Cascade Books and is available from your favorite bookstore or from the website at earlychristiantexts.com/book. And be sure to let me know if you'd like to hear a conversation on some other questions. You can also leave your questions on the website. Again, that's earlychristiantexts.com.